What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Warriors Report. The fireworks have already started, and boy, oh boy, what a way to start the NBA trade deadline. Now, obviously, this being a Raptors channel, I'm going to talk about the Raptors trade first because Jakob Poeltl is now a Toronto Raptors yet once again. Adrian Wojnarowski was reporting the Toronto Raptors have acquired San Antonio Spurs center Jakob Poeltl for Khem Birch, a protected 2024 first-round draft pick, and 2 future second-round draft picks. Sources tell ESPN. He also went on to state that the Raptors bring back the center they drafted, developed, and traded for Kawhi Leonard with the intention of signing him to a new contract this summer. Sources tell ESPN Toronto has been desperate for a center, and they landed him and Jakob Poeltl right now. Now, first of all, my thoughts are, wow, this is amazing. Like, I just actually made the video. I had made a video for about 2.5, 3 hours, and I was like, okay, I've uploaded a video. We'll see the fireworks tomorrow morning. But no, I'm sitting on the toilet seat. And what do I see? Jakob Poeltl is traded to the Toronto Raptors. Now, I know the immediate concern is going to be we gave up a first-round pick next year when technically we should be retooling. Let me state one thing, guys. If you, in fact, the last video I had just uploaded, I stated the Raptors desperately need a center, and I think this is finally the move that the Raptors have been waiting for. Let's talk about some of the positives now, because we know the Raptors don't have interior defense. We've seen them so many times where teams willingly go to the Raptors' paint and score by easily just going up to the rim. There's no rim protection. Jakob Poeltl provides a lot of rim protection for the Toronto Raptors. And he is 7 foot. He's actually listed as 7 foot 1 inches, but Jakob Poeltl is someone who moves his feet very well. I think this is a great trade for the Toronto Raptors. And let's not forget, we're talking about the first round picks and the draft picks. The Raptors dumped Khem Birch's salary as well. He's making $6 million this year. I believe he had one more season of $6 million as well. So this is a good trade for the Toronto Raptors. Now, I know people are going to talk about that draft pick, especially next year. This essentially means that the Raptors are going to become buyers. They want to win now, and thank God Masai Ujiri has finally decided we need a center, guys. Some of you guys, I swear I am not exaggerating when I say this. I went on a rant video after the Raptors were eliminated by the 76ers, saying the Raptors have needed a center for quite a while. And a lot of you guys were flaming me in the comment section, stating that the Raptors don't need a center. They need to go with a 6'9" vision, and this has proved it. I don't want to say I told you so, but I literally told you so. For 2 seasons now, the Raptors have needed a center, and they finally acquired one in Jakob Poeltl. Now, obviously, Jakob Poeltl does a lot of good things for the Toronto Raptors, and when you take a look at his stats here, he's listed at, like I said, 7 foot 1 inch, 245 pounds, and he's still only 27 years old, which obviously fits in with the timeline of Pascal Siakam. And even taking a look at his statistics here, he's had a pretty good damn season. Like, let's not exaggerate. I'm not saying he's a superstar, he's an all-star by any means. 12 points is decent. 9.1 rebounds is great. 3.1 assists is amazing for a center. I know he doesn't shoot the 3-point ball, and we'll talk about some of his negatives in just a moment, but something he does really well of is block shots. The Raptors need rim protection, and they finally get it. And on top of that, he is good friends with Pascal Siakam as well. And I don't know what Masai Ujiri was saying to Pascal Siakam after all sorts of speculations that he got called into his office. Maybe Pascal was smiling because Masai told him that we are going to acquire your former teammate and really good friend. The Raptors know obviously what they're doing, and I'm excited by this. Now, this does raise some questions as to what they'll do with Gary Trent Jr. and Fred VanVleet, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But obviously, Jakob Poeltl does not space the floor, right? Like, we can talk about some of his positives. We have to talk about his negatives as well. It's going to be really interesting now because Jakob, although he's a great passer, which makes it a little bit easier when you have guys like Pascal and Scottie functioning in the paint, it is going to be very interesting how they're now going to have 3 guys that operate in the paint with guys with 2 other starters with 3-point shooting. Obviously, now look, the Raptors have Jakob Poeltl right at the center, Pascal Siakam. They have Scottie Barnes. They have OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr. So I'm going to be talking about that as well, because obviously that is going to be a big concern. The Raptors did not acquire Jakob Poeltl to have him come off the bench. Let's get one thing straight. He's not coming off the bench. He's a really good acquisition for the Raptors. But what does this mean for Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr.? This undoubtedly means one of them is getting traded. Now, actually, in the last video released, I'm actually going to delete that video, guys, because I'll explain in just a second. But I think Gary Trent Jr. is definitely getting traded. Now, what the Raptors have the opportunity to do is not only trade Gary Trent Jr., and I think they should trade him because he has the higher return than a Fred VanVleet. What they can do is fill out the rest of the roster. Now they can trade Gary Trent Jr. for young players under reasonable contracts that are a little bit cheaper. It allows you to save money a little bit in the long term. And it also allows you to get some depth, particularly at the shooting guard and the point guard position on the bench. So the Raptors all of a sudden have starters in Jakob Poeltl, Pascal Scottie, OG, and Fred, and then you fill out 2 positions on the bench. That's an absolute plus. And they can acquire picks as well. Don't put it past Masai Ujiri to acquire picks as well. So again, this has been crazy to talk about. Obviously, the big concern for me with Jakob Poeltl is his free throw percentage. Like he's 59% for, this season. Can you play him in late game situations is going to be the big question. But I think one thing I do want to pinpoint regarding Jakob Poeltl is I know a lot of people are going to say, what happens with Christian Koloko now? And I think this allows Christian Koloko to take his time. Like there's not that pressure on Christian Koloko to become a starter next year or the following season. You bring him along slowly. Jakob Poeltl is 27. So if the Raptors sign him to a 3-4 year contract, this essentially allows Christian Koloko to come along slowly. And you know what? Jakob Poeltl isn't the type of player like a DeAndre Ayton that's going to be complaining in the fourth quarter about not playing. So what you can essentially do is even go small ball lineup with different types of teams, right? Like you can have pressures at the 5 as well. You can start the game with Jakob Poeltl. There's so many different types of variables and lineups you can do. Personally, guys, I'm excited. The Raptors are going to start winning a lot more games with Jakob Poeltl. Believe me when I state this, his impact on the Raptors defense is going to be phenomenal. I'm personally really excited because the Raptors have done absolutely nothing after they traded Kyle Lowry to kind of build around Pascal Siakam. He deserves it. Finally got his best friend back from San Antonio. And you could go back to the Kawhi Leonard trade and all of a sudden, the Raptors gave up DeMar DeRozan, a first-round pick, 2 first-round picks actually, and 2 future second-round picks. So for your Spurs fans that are watching this, that trade now does not look all that bad, right? So again, great news for the Raptors. I do want to talk about some major news we got as well. I'm still getting goosebumps, guys. Kevin Durant has been traded to the Phoenix Suns. Yes, we're going to break that detail down as well. So take a look at this tweet here by Adrian Wojnarowski. And the details were the Phoenix Suns are nearing a blockbuster trade to acquire Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant. Sources tell ESPN Durant wanted to move to Suns, and new owner Matt Ishibia, excuse me for mispronouncing the name, pushing to get the deal done. And the deal was the Suns are sending Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, a 2028 pick swap for Durant, TJ Warren. Sources tell ESPN Durant wanted to move, and new owner Matt pushed to get the deal done tonight. Now, obviously, this is crazy because there's also sort of trade talks, right? Like, can the Raptors acquire Kevin Durant? And a lot of people stated that it wasn't possible. Call me crazy, guys. I think the Raptors could have easily put a better package together. With all due respect to Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, you're telling me a package of OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., Christian Koloko, like 3 first-round picks isn't a better deal? I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about that. The lineup with the Raptors would have been insane, like absolutely insane. You would have Jakob Poeltl, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, Kevin Durant, OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, whoever, and you're trading other. Well, if OG and Gary are going, then that would mean Fred is staying. So, I mean, that would be an insane lineup, though. It's crazy. I feel like the Raptors could have beat that package. Maybe Sean Marks did not want to make a deal with the Raptors because obviously he was trying to acquire OG Anunoby. He was trying to talk, the Raptors into somehow acquiring Pascal and Fred as well. So maybe there's some sort of bitterness, and he's holding a grudge. I'm not giving you Kevin Durant because you guys don't want to give me that. So again, crazy news. Honestly, guys, I'm still getting goosebumps. The trade deadline has started with a huge, massive trade. Now, all of a sudden, this changes everything in the Western Conference. The LA Lakers, I'm sorry, guys. If you're a Lakers fan and you're watching this, I feel sorry for you guys. I mean, the entire season, you guys were saying trade Westbrook, and you finally did. You got some decent pieces in return, and you're probably so excited. And this morning, by the time we watch this video, you're going to be waking up in the morning, and now you see Kevin Durant. I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh, guys. Kevin Durant, goddamn Kevin Durant, forming another super team, and now all of a sudden, the West is going to be desperate. Maybe the Raptors get a lot more for OG Anunoby all of a sudden, right? So from the Western Conference teams, this changes everything. You got another super team in the Western Conference. Like, that's insane. What are the Warriors going to do now? What are the Lakers going to do? I mean, they have 1 first-round pick, the Lakers do, but now all of a sudden, do the Warriors make some moves because now they're waking up to news that Kevin Durant is a Phoenix Suns? Man, I don't know how I feel about this. This is crazy. I don't know if this ruins the league yet once again because, like, you got a big 3. You got a big 3 in Phoenix Suns with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and don't forget, DeAndre Ayton is still there too, guys. So DeAndre Ayton is there as well. The only thing I will say with the Phoenix Suns, the only issue I will have, they're obviously a super team, is, I don't know, like they traded Jay Crowder, as well. So now they all of a sudden don't have a 3-and-D guy. So who's your 3-and-D guy? Like, are you getting Kevin Durant to guard the other players' best players? Like, you got Chris Paul and Devin Booker, who are point guards and shooting guards, and you don't have that small forward. So very interesting. Obviously, this is still a really good deal for the Phoenix Suns. I think they got a really amazing deal for what they gave up. McHale and Cam Johnson are nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm surprised other teams couldn't have beat this offer. But I'm very intrigued to hear your thoughts. I don't think the Raptors are done making moves. I don't think a lot of Western Conference teams are done making moves. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you want to shout out, guys, just let me know down below. Just comment down below. I'll give you a shout out in my next video. Stay tuned for all the alerts surrounding the Toronto Raptors and obviously NBA trades like this as well. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, guys. That will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.